Well, we just wrapped an interview with my man, my guy, Greg Collier, James Beard nominated chef, owner of Third and Fernwood, Uptown Yolk, client of ours at the Brain Script Agency. Amazing brother from Memphis 10, one of the blackest people you'll ever meet. And I really treasure Greg for being that way.
I think people think who Chef Greg Collier is who Greg Collier is, right?
Yeah.
Having a baby made me realize how important community was. I need her to grow up with the black marketing firm in Charlotte know who my baby is. The board people at the CMS know who my baby is. The mayor know who my baby is. Council people know who my baby is. It's been times where I've been in a coffee shop and they've been playing Nas or Biggie or Jay, and I heard a cuss word and I'd be like, where we at right now? Like, and it's like sometimes we receive our culture better coming from people who are not of the culture. And a lot of times I think we don't know how to accept our culture because we've conformed to the version of our culture that's supposed to be cool. So when we get the culture, it's like, man, what's going on?
One thing that I love about Greg is that he has a beautiful vision of what Charlotte can be as it relates to food and as it relates to the culinary scene here in Charlotte.
People go to culinary school and spend money to learn, and then they have to go work at a job to where they got to start at the bottom because they don't know as much about the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
We're going to build a program that's centered on the restaurant. We teach people how to work in a restaurant, how to run a line, how to run a station, how to serve, how to bartend, how to be a sommelier. We're teaching people at the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So not only are they working, they're getting paid to learn. As they're getting paid to learn, when they go through our program, when they leave the program, they're walking into a restaurant with the ability to work saute, with the ability to work salad station, with the ability to talk to a guest about the difference between these 3 red grapes. They walk in with that knowledge at 19, 20, 21.
Him and his wife, Subrina, who's, he would say is the brains behind the operation, they are so authentic, they're risk takers, but they're real. They're real about what it takes to be successful in the food industry. They're real about the challenges that black people face in the food industry, especially here in Charlotte. But one thing I love about him is that no matter what the challenges are, that doesn't stop them from creating and implementing things, cool concepts that they think will work here in Charlotte. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. J. Hill, and we're back with another episode of the Power Mixer podcast, man. And y'all just don't understand, man, this moment, what it means to me. Let me tell you something, man. I think I stalked Chef Gregory for like a year or two before I finally met him. No, I'm just playing. I don't think I stalked him, but I had my eye on him and Subrina for a really long time. And, the way God works is crazy. Like, I met Valeda Fullwood at Leadership Charlotte. She presented to my particular class. And Valeda and I'm going to tell this story. So Valeda and I were supposed to have coffee. She wrote the date down wrong. And I'm texting her like, yo, I got us a table. And she's like, oh, my bad, Jay. I thought it was for a different time or a different day. I was like, it's all good. And so we stayed in touch. And so she was like, yo, I apologize for missing our meeting. She said, but I want to invite you to this event called a cookout that we're doing. I'm like, all right, cool. It's for NGAP.
We're about to cookout?
Yeah, check this out though. So she's like, I'm gonna send you I'm sending you my ticket. I'm sending you a ticket. Here's an invitation. I'm like, cool. And so I'm looking at it. And I'm like, dang, that's going to be dope. And so I look at the bottom right corner and it say $500 on the ticket. And so I'm like, $500? $500? And so, and it's like, they ain't even released the location or anything yet. That's going to come out later. And so I get enough gall and, or something around with that. And I say, you know what? My wife gonna be salty if I don't bring her. Should I register for her ticket? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, nah, just go in and I got both of y'all. I said, cool. Go to the cookout. It's in this beautiful barn, like a farm. I don't know. It's off of what, Mount Holly, Huntersville Road or somewhere. Yeah. And so I go in there and guess who in there? Greg and Subrina Collier. And it was my first time meeting y'all, man, and we just hit it off right then. So, formal introduction, my guy Gregory Collier, Brain Script family in the building, owner, proprietor, business partner in Uptown Yolk, off the chain every weekend. You can't even get in there half the time. Third and Fernwood at the Metropolitan Uptown Charlotte and or Midtown Charlotte, depending on where you're from. And I just want to welcome you to the show, man. New podcast, panelist at the Food in Charlotte, Empower Mixer. How you doing, man? Thank you for being here.
I'm good, bro. I appreciate you. Well, let me go ahead and get this out of the way. So can I cuss or like nah? Like are we like? Because I don't want to.
This your show, dog.
Nah, I'm a guest on your show.
So we gotta wait. I think we gotta wait about 10 minutes before we go start cussing.
Okay, cool. I'll be appropriate. I got you.
You two want us to wait 10 minutes.
I got you. I got you.
All right. So I've always wanted to ask this question to you before we get into the food stuff. All right. You live in where? McCory Heights?
Yep.
All right. Why? Like, I got so many friends: Winston Robinson, LaDonte, Rocky McGregor. I think the mayor,
and me and who write for Shadow Zero.
Yeah, like so. There's all of these black people that live in that area off of Batersford Road, the historic West End. Did y'all have a secret meeting or something to like go over there? Like, what's the play? What's happening?
The reason why we over there was because Wilma was like, "Bro, y'all need to move to the West Side."
Okay. Winston Robinson.
Yeah, that's I forgot.
Yeah, Wilmo. That's Wilmo though.
Winston Robinson. Now, I got a story about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like, he was like, "Yo, bro, y'all need to move to the West Side." We was like for what? He was like, because it's like it's Black Harlem, and it's Harlem, not Black Harlem. It's Harlem and Charlotte, and I was like, what do that mean? And what people don't know is Leah and Luis, the goal was to go to the West Side in the first place.
Okay.
We wanted to, the thought process was we felt like if we opened a black-owned restaurant that was super black culturally, musically, and food-wise, and spoke to us in a different way. Because I think a lot of restaurants speak to us, but I think Leah and Luis was and is and will always be the place where the conversation changed. It's kind of like, I liken Leah and Luis to when blues turned into jazz.
Gotcha.
Because it's still rooted in blues, but it's just a different swag and it's a different conversation. And it's the same people who've always been talking. But anyway, so we wanted that to be on the West Side because we thought like, yo, if we are the welcome to the West Side, right? Yeah. It now opens up the gateway for anything else to happen if Leah and Luis can work.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we were trying to do that. It didn't work out. We went to Camp North End. Camp North End was great. Still a historically black area, right? Then towards the end of Leah and Luis, we was like, we need to move to the West Side because we need to try to make the vision for the West Side happen. So we did that. And now it's like Betty's Ford Corridor, the development is coming.
Yeah.
There are brothers and sisters who own land and who are doing great things, who plan to do great things. We want to be in close proximity to that. And I want to, like, as restaurant owners, like, we want to say, yo, we here too. Like, we don't live in Huntersville on 2 acres of land and $1 million house talking good about the West Side.
Yeah. We
live on the West Side. I go to Chicken and Ribs way too much.
Shout out to Jermaine.
I'm at Archive meeting way too much, right?
Shout out to Sharice.
So, like, but I wouldn't be able to do that if I was still in Steel Creek, right? It would be work. It would be an effort. Like, when I go on my morning runs, walks, jogs, whatever it be at the time, I'm walking past Chicken and Rib.
Yeah.
I'm walking by the Excelsior. I'm walking by the beauty shop my wife get her hair done at. Our baby is going to daycare a mile away. So, like, to be in community and see what it looked like from a first-person perspective and not a second or third to where we're talking at or talking to was really important to us because we want to be Sylvia's for the West Side, right? We want people to look at whatever we end up doing, whether it's 1 or 10, right? We want people to look at it in 30 or 40 years when I can't necessarily jog past Excelsior and Chicken and Ribs. I want people to say, Greg and Subrina helped build this into what this is. like we talk about some of the forefathers and foremothers of Charlotte. So it was a very specific thought process. We could have picked a few places to live and move, but we want to be part of the resurgence of the West Side. Like when Excelsior was jumping, like how it was, and it was a place where people all over the South came.
Yeah.
We want to be a part of that resurgence because we know it's coming, and our goal is to make sure that Black hands are the ones developing, at least from our perspective.
Yeah, I want to, of course, we're gonna start with your history and how you got here and your background and everything. But you made me think about something that I recently kind of discovered. Like, this is the first time in my life. So I lived in Atlanta for 10 years. I'm born and raised in Charlotte. I've been in Charlotte all my life except for the 10 years I lived in Atlanta. But I was telling my wife, man, I was like, this is the first time in my entire life in this past year and a half, 2 years, where I feel like, I understand that I'm a part of a community. Like, I know what a community is. Like you just described, like, from where you live to where your daughter goes to daycare to where you walk to where you go eat. It's like on a movie where you like, hey, Mr. Johnson, hey,
100%.
Mr. Collier, like you walking down the street, like
100%.
everybody knows you.
Yeah.
And so like when I walk in Archive, when I go to Tuesday Morning Forum, when I go to these different places, I feel like I know everybody and what part they play in our community. Right. And so my question to you is like, why you answered it already, like, but why is that so important for us in Charlotte to do that?
I'm gonna tell you something, man. For a long time, and I won't even say it was a long time ago. I think people think because of who, and I'm gonna speak. I don't mean to speak in third person, but I have to for a moment. Yeah. I think people think who Chef Greg Collier is who Greg Collier is, right? Yeah. And that is for sure a huge part of me. But like having a baby made me realize how important community was, because now I'm not thinking about, I don't really like being around people like that. I love cooking for people and I love hosting people, but I don't really like, I got people I fool with and I like to hang with, but it ain't a lot of people. Like I don't got 10 different cliques. I'm like, I'm gonna go with this, I'm going Friday, Sunday, I'm gonna do this, Monday, I'm gonna do, it's like, I might go out once or twice a week. I'm going out with the people I like to spend time with. Yeah. But I thought proximity didn't matter. I was just like, I could go to Steel Creek and kick with my guys. I can go to University kick with my guys. I can go to this place and kick with my guys. I think what happened when we moved to the West Side, what happened when we had a kid was, man, I need her to grow up with the black marketing firm in Charlotte, know who my baby is. The board people at the CMS know who my baby is. The mayor know who my baby is. Council people know who my baby is. And I don't know Silver Spoon just, hey girl, what you doing out here? Yeah, you supposed to be in class right now, right? I don't think I recognized how. I think it happened quick too. We had bought a house in Salisbury. We was like, we're gonna live in the country. I was gonna teach at Livingston and ride out to the sunset, right? I'm gonna be a culinary instructor for the next 50 years and I'll be good. And we went to that house while Subrina was pregnant. And it was, I think I might have said it. I was like, nah.
This ain't it.
I can't raise my baby here. Like, and it wasn't, and nobody did it. Like it was what it was. Yeah. 6 months before, a year before when we actually bought the house, it was the same place, but the perspective was so different. I said, man, like, again, no knock to the neighbors, right? We had neighbors on one side, it was super cool, right? Super great people. Neighbors on the other side, there's a lot going on that side. I mean, a lot. You couldn't even think of how much was going on. And then across the street, it was stuff. And I was like, who my baby growing up with? Yeah. So I think it stopped being about me at that point. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, we end up moving from Steel Creek, renting the house, selling that house. And then, like locking in on the West Side. Now we're in the process of trying to get a crib on the West Side. But I think, man, like, it's super easy to. It's like, looking a gift horse in the mouth or bird in the hand, like all those kind of fables or whatever, right? It's super easy to not be thinking about them when you don't have them. But boy, when you get two birds in your hand, like or one bird in your hand, and you looking at that two in the bushes, like, man, this bird is great. Like, this is great. Do I really? I don't know if I even want to play around like that. Like, the West Side is great, and we don't have to make it great. Like, I think a lot of people think, man, you gotta come to the neighborhood, you gotta turn it into something, you gotta make it great. Like, nah, like, I wanted to, me and Subrina think about when we go to other places, right? We was at a wine bar, right? Phenomenal, right? It wasn't that the wine was great. The wine was really good. It wasn't that it was stuff I had never seen before. It was just that, man, I wanted it on my side of town.
Yeah.
And like all we was talking about while we were in there was, man, I would love for this to be on my side of town on Betty's Ford Road with a patio overlooking the corridor. We go to, we sit down in Uptown Yolk. Like, man, I would love if I just had to go up the street to go check in on these folks. And we had a great brunch and all the churches, Park, Friendship, like all the churches on Betty's Ford Road.
Yes.
Right? Hey, what y'all doing after church? Oh, we going to South Park, or we going to Ballantyne, or we going to, you're not going right there.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going where you can point, where you can look at, where you can see right across the street. And I think, like, just being over there has kind of strengthened the fire and said, like, we're going to figure out what we need to do to get something over here, because we want this neighborhood to be the place that everybody comes to. And then also to be the place that everybody in the neighborhood, like, I love Midwood. I love Noda. I love all these places, but, like, black folks need to be, we need to have a place to where we can go to where we know it's us, and we know it's safe, and we know people are thinking about us, and we know some other things might be wrong. Some other things might need to be worked out.
Yeah.
But what don't need to be, it ain't, man, I love you, you my brother. I love you, you my sister. That ain't the reason why this experience ain't a good experience for you. And I say it all the time, and I'm not going to call out any names, any places. We go to these places, and they say they don't want us to be in there. Like, post stuff. No jeans, no jerseys, no tennis shoes, no baggy this, no, like, bro, they talking to you.
Yeah.
And you get yourself, boy, we had 10 minutes yet? Because I got to say something. But like, we going to get ourselves together, we going to go to this place, and it's like, you convince yourself that you are welcome there because they deal with you and they tolerate you, and they deal with you and tolerate you because they want that money.
Because you conformed.
Bro, super underrated. They don't even really want you. They want the version of you that they're willing to deal with to get your money.
Yeah.
Bro, if that ain't Stockholm Syndrome, like, I don't know what is. So anyway, I think for us, like, the real thing, like, it's a lot of things, but, like, again, I just want to be able to, ride a bike to work, drive to church without having to go across town or whatever, leave church and go get something to eat without having to go across town or whatever, and then go back home. I want it to be a mile. It's like that in every other community. Yeah. It's like that in Ballantyne. It's like that in Providence. It's like that in South End. It's like that in South Park. Literally, every other community is like that, to where you can go do everything in your life in 1 square mile, and you don't have to sacrifice quality. You don't have to say, well, I want a burger, but I got to go to this place to get a burger because this the best burger I could get. Yeah. In the other neighborhoods, you got the $5 burger, the $10 burger, the $15 burger, the $28 way too expensive, but I'm drinking it with a glass of wine burger.
The Wagyu burger.
You got the Wagyu burger. You got the donkey burger. You got 7 different places that offer you burgers. Yeah. And we not at a place on the west side where we got like 2 options, right? Yeah. And if we do, one of those options is, or 3 or 4 of those options is fast food, and we know chains and their profit machines, and they don't really care about nothing else. So yeah, that's the long-winded reason.
Dog, so I like you talk about like just proximity, and so like let me tell you the special thing for me. So like, my wife grew up off of Batersford Road. So I'm from West Boulevard. She's from Batersford Road.
Oh, y'all really west side.
Yeah, we super west side, right? Yeah. And so she grew up in Trinity Park. Her parents retired in Hyde Park on Batersford Road. She went to Smith's, graduated from Smith, right? And so the beautiful thing, and she grew up in Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. The beautiful thing I love, man, is after church, my wife and my 13-year-old son, we go and pull up at Archive.
Yeah.
I go get my wildflower. Shout out to Cherise and Kobe and them over there, Mr. Ken Koontz. But pull up over there, and guess what I see? 5 people coming from Friendship, coming over there to get coffee, bro. You know, it feels like, you know, Cheers. Like you walk in, and hey, what's up, Hill? You know what I mean? It's community. And now I remember when I was a kid, like I grew up on West Boulevard. We would go to church on Morrisfield Drive, which is by the airport. Mm-hmm. We would go to McDonald's cafeteria back in the day. And man, listen, Chef, I can still taste them shrimp, the pile of shrimp with fries that we used to get at dog. And so, but that's what it reminds me of, right? But like, it's just the coolest thing to walk in there and hear my favorite music, to see like magazines on the wall. Mm-hmm. Like that is what you're explaining is that we're cool. Like and Winston talks about this. Wilmo talks about this all the time. We have the right to be able to be ourselves in our purest form right now, right here. And not have to adjust. Right. And you know what I mean? And conform somewhere else. Right. We should have our own spaces to be able to do that.
You want to be at home. And I think with people, I see people of all ilks, ages, or whatever talk about their neighborhoods. And a lot of times, you know, I'm in the restaurant industry, so a lot of my friends and associates are also in the restaurant industry. When they're talking about where their restaurant is, you talk about a Kindred and Davidson. Joe grew up in Lake Norman, right? Mm-hmm. He's at home, and he don't have to. Everything about Kindred is him, and what they do and who they are, and their kids are like everything about them is that in their neighborhood and their community. You know, I don't know where Chris Coleman grew up exactly, but like everything about that Goodyear House location is him and what he does, and like it's so many you know, folks who own restaurants that get to build places that are so great and so them, and it's their music, and it's the music they grew up with, and it's the food they grew up in, and it's the culture they grew up in, right? And oftentimes we have to find the way to be in those spaces, for one. But another thing too is we have to find a way for us to give our culture outward, right? And we also have to find a way to receive our culture sometimes inward, because it's been times where I've been in a coffee shop and they've been playing Nas or Biggie or Jay or Rakim or whoever, and I heard a cuss word and I'd be like, where we at right now? Like, and it's like
we're not at Starbucks,
right? Like, it's like, man, like, and it's not to say that that's not their culture too. Yeah. But what it is to say is, if I'm playing that music at my restaurant, oftentimes my people will be like, oh, why they playing this in here? Like, sometimes we receive our culture better coming from people who are not of the culture. Okay. And that's another reason why we wanted to be on the West Side so much, because we wanted to say, I used to say this all the time, bro, Lynn Louise being in Charlotte, North Carolina, is the blackest restaurant that has ever existed. Listen. We played everything from Al Green to Michael Jackson to Prince to 3 6 Mafia. Bro, we played everything, and the food was that, and the energy is that, and the space in that. We was most of our staff was black, and everything we were trying to do everything at the highest possible level we could do it. Yeah. And people talk about, they compare Uptown Yolk to Leah Louise, and they compare Third and Fernwood to Leah Louise, and I'm like, yo, y'all do know how much y'all argued about Leah Louise the first couple of years before y'all got it. Like, culturally, like, are you not supposed to do that this way, and this don't go that way, and this, that, blah, blah. Like, it took a while for people to realize, bro, this you, like, I'm giving you in all the potential forms that I can think of to give you. Yeah. Subrina's not giving you 90s hip hop, bro, or 2010, bro. She's giving you everything. Yeah. She's giving you from many rippingtons to Nicki Minaj. Like, and it's like, bro, we giving you all the culture in all our places, right? And a lot of times, I think we don't know how to accept our culture because we've conformed to the version of our culture that's supposed to be cool. So when we get the culture, it's like, nah, what's going on? Right? And it's why, like, you talked about Atlanta, places like Atlanta, places like DC, places like Philly, places like Chicago, Detroit, where that culture never wavered.
Bro, I'm about to jump into it because I don't want to cut you off. Though. Go ahead.
Now, do you think?
No, I listen. 20 years ago,
Yeah.
I've been back in Charlotte since 2006.
Yeah.
Bro, when I touched down in 96 to Atlanta, there was a Wu-Tang shop, like store.
Right.
Downtown Atlanta, there was a Wu-Tang store, bro. The RZA was in there sometimes, right? There was when I remember in the late 90s, there was a hip-hop cafe.
Right.
Where they had food and wings or whatever. It's like your regular wings, like a Hooters or whatever. But all they played was hip-hop. It was like 20-some years ago, bro. And so I struggled when I came back to Charlotte because I felt like, what is this place? Like,
what are we doing?
Like, what happened? Like, I came from a place where it was so rich in culture, and it was understood. And I think the thing I want to correlate is that Black Atlanta exists in a greater Atlanta. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's a fabric of the whole city. It's not separated in any way, or like they both can coincide. And I feel like there's this thing in Charlotte, and I do want to talk about even more food, but I think your perspective shapes the way you look at food in the restaurant business, of course, right?
100%.
But I think we have a hard time here feeling like new concepts, new things, like what is that? And then there's always this, let me sit back and see if that's gonna work. And if that works, then okay, we in. And then not only that, we want to bite it too. You know what I mean? We didn't even talk about that. You know, like that exists.
That is. So I think that happens everywhere. To be clear, I think that last part happens everywhere.
Okay, all right.
I think the beauty about places like Atlanta, and and I always say Atlanta, DC, Philly. I don't really include New York in that way because New York is kind of an anomaly, although it exists there. Houston, Chicago, Detroit, even Memphis, for all the issues we have right now. It's not, in Charlotte, it's often people who are not really of the culture trying to recreate the culture.
Yep. I know what you mean.
So I don't necessarily, I say it all the time, like, nobody can do Lil Louise. Not because people can't cook. People can cook. It's like, that came from me and Subrina's being, right? Uptown Yolk is chicken and waffles and onions, yada, yada, yada. But what that space is, how it exists, came from our being. Third and Fernwood is soul food, southern food, but that came from our being. Like, you may be able to do your version of that thing, but you can't do this thing because it came from our being. I think the thing that I'd be most concerned with, right, is if somebody, let's say Greek person, decides, man, I love what they doing at Third and Fernwood. I'm finna go open this on Lower South End, is what they call it.
Low so. My bad.
I'm not here long enough to. So like, we're gonna do it down South Boulevard, right? And the press promoted, people push it, influencers, yada yada yada. They go in, it's like, oh man, this is the best meatloaf in the city. Yeah. I'm not even mad about people saying that in context of my restaurant. So you telling me Merck's and Nana's and the Coffee Cup and all these places that been here doing it forever, that's the best meatloaf in the city. No, that ain't the best meatloaf in the city. That's just you, in the last 3 months, you ain't had meatloaf. So you're going to this place, and now you contextualizing this new place with best because it's newest. It's not necessarily the best. I ain't saying it's the worst, but it's newest. So you're like, oh my God, it's the best. And then in 6 months, when a new place come and they got meatloaf, you're going to say, oh my God, it's the best. Yeah. And oftentimes that is coming from people who are not in the culture, doing stuff in a way because they understand how Charlotte works and they understand how cliquey we can be and how new stuff we can be and how like I almost feel like Charlotte got ADD. It's like we can't focus on nothing for no amount of time for it to become a big thing and blossom and thrive. But I do think there's so many people here in Charlotte, especially black folks, who want to see it thrive. Like we've been talking about the panel you had on the rooftop on the Mosaic, right?
Yeah.
And brothers like Bobby Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Chris Hemmings. Not Chris Hemmings. Chris Dennis.
Chris Dennis. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Bobby Dreyfus.
Like that thought process. People want to see Black Charlotte win. I think we haven't gotten to a place in Black Charlotte to where we can move without whispering it. In Atlanta, bro, they be screaming. Screaming
in a megaphone.
Hey,
like,
we finna
screaming plus the megaphone.
me, and again, like, I don't want to compare anybody here to Killer Mike and T.I., but like, Killer Mike and T.I. say, look, man, we finna open up 6 restaurants in the next 6 years, man. We gonna open one on the west side. We finna buy this, boom, boom, boom. And they do it. And there's no, well, wait a minute. Well, why would you? Well, what about? Well, I think it's like they do it, right? Yeah. And it might be that, but they don't have to whisper it. Yeah. I think in Charlotte, we still at a place where, especially black folks, like we gotta maneuver, or we gotta whisper, or we gotta, hey, what do you think about? Oh no, okay, well let me boom. You gotta go through channel after channel after channel after channel. And I feel like we're getting to a place to where we're becoming more, because I don't think we need to tell everybody our business, but I also don't think I should have to whisper about what our plans are for them to work and be successful.
Why are we whispering? I got to jump in. Why are we whispering?
Because I don't. It's kind of like we talked about the conforming thing.
Yeah,
I think we're whispering because a lot of people have been conforming for so long that they think that confirming is confirmation.
Like how your grandma be like, they start talking about somebody, be like, and you know old Lucille being just,
you know what they're trying to buy. I don't know why they're trying to buy that building, boom, boom, boom. And they're like, I think we are starting to be a more collective group here in Charlotte. Yeah. And once we are very fortunate to have had Mr. Malcolm Coley's retirement celebration in our restaurant.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Malcolm.
And shout out to Miss Coley too.
Yes.
Right. She is a phenomenal leader in both business and of that family. From what I saw. And it was so cool because I heard stories about Mr. Coley, and then I met him. I was like, yo, he cool too. Like, yeah, he's this pantheon of business, right? Yeah. But he's also a real cool human. Bro, same thing with the family, right? Yeah. And the great thing about that is, we're in this room, and there's so many of the black leaders in Charlotte, and we're working, right? We're working, we're putting out great food, and I'm so excited to be feeding these people. And I go outside. We're outside smoking cigars, and I'm talking to some of the guys, and it hit me. And I said, man, where I'm from, this room don't even, like, there's no potential for this room to exist. It ain't enough black people on the council or in county commissioners or in economic development or as CEOs, let alone companies for them to be CEOs for them to be that many black people who are that important here in Charlotte. Wow. And I said, and that's like, and like obviously, like, I'm not crying about it, but like I was like, wow, like we are at a place here in Charlotte where black excellence is becoming, like, I don't want to say it's not normalized, but it's like
we're used to it. We're starting to get used to it.
We're starting to get used to it.
Yeah,
it's not shocking. Yeah. It's not an anomaly. And I'm telling you, and I'm Mr. Coley, bro.
Call me Malcolm, bro.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, you know who you are, Miss Coley. Like, nah, come here. So like, and I think that for me and I'm not old, but I don't think I'm necessarily young, but they think I'm young. So like, as a younger business owner who is working through some things and trying to figure out some things and establish structure and build infrastructure and do all these things, it's very great for me to get to be in that room and to have 30 seconds of conversation with people who I think are responsible for building Charlotte. And I'm just saying, yo, we love what y'all doing. Yeah. It's like, what? Bro, you CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world. Huh? What do you mean you love what are you talking about? Oh, you love what I'm doing. So like, I'm not gonna be the naysayer and be like, oh, nothing's working. I think we're in a great place in Charlotte. Yeah. And I think to the point, I think we're get to the point to where we're not gonna have to whisper, right? Miss Carlenia is
shout out to Miss Carlenia,
a huge voice in the community. Yeah. Every time I see her, she said, "Baby, come here." And this person and this something like this, man. She like, look, you need to boom. Yeah. Like I've never had that in my life before, and I don't think I have that without us being here in Charlotte. So like, it's becoming I think a beautiful ecosystem to where I meet a Jay Hill, and Jay Hill is talking to me about people, and then I'm talking to him about people, and then at some point we are all in the same room with all these people that we've been having discussions about. So I think we are in a great place. I don't want to be like, Charlotte is we ain't going nowhere. Yeah, we here forever. We here to build. My baby is from Charlotte. Yeah, she gonna be a Charlottean doing her thing at one point. So yeah,
unless they dangle a check out of Atlanta, but
hey. She it's certain things that got to happen. She still got to get school paid for. Yeah. Knowing my baby, she'll have a full ride to anywhere. And I'll be like, well, I guess I ain't got to pay for nothing, so you can do what you want to do.
She's so, like, well, anyway. All right, so we got to get to this food. All right, so check it. I know you're going to feel me on this. So before I met you, and just follow me here, I was like, I wonder what kind of brother Greg is. I saw all the James Beard nomination stuff. I saw all of the, I don't know, man, all of the high class culinary awards and magazines and things of that nature. And then I met you at the cookout, and I said, man, this dude blacker than me.
Right. We at the 10-minute mark yet?
Yes, we are definitely. We way past the 10-minute mark.
Bet. Okay, go ahead.
So I meet you and I'm like, no, he's a real cool brother. This somebody I could kick it with. Right. So we've talked about your public image and how it's evolved, and how you and your wife Subrina, shout out to Subrina, you've like really wanted to make sure you were hands-on with how you're perceived in the community, right? And how that connects to the restaurants that you all have as well. Right. And so, yes, I was pleasantly surprised how cool you were, and are, I should say. But talk about Memphis, how you got in the culinary scene, and then I want us to kind of walk through your journey, and then we kind of figure out what we need to do in Charlotte on the food scene.
Man, and I know this phrase I'm about to say might not resonate with everybody in the way that I mean it to, so I'm gonna do my best to explain it. But bro, I'm a real Memphis nigga, dog. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to. There's no other phrase that can really help you understand who I am, bro. Like, my sister, granny, aunts, barbecue. Yeah. My dad grew up in one of the toughest neighborhoods in the city. My mom grew up in South Memphis. Like, you don't heard of South Memphis because of the reputation that it had. Like, my Sabrina's grandmother worked in the hospital where MLK was brought into. Wow.
You talking about when Martin Luther King was shot?
When Martin Luther King was shot, her grandmother was in that hospital, and they brought him in with newspapers over him.
Oh my God.
So like, the story that community tells about that event is not the story that we hear outside of Memphis, right? Yeah. Bro, like, I'm a hot wing making, barbecuing, Al Green, BB King, 8 Ball of MJG listening to, live down the street from Graceland and never set foot inside the gates. Like, I'm a Memphian, and my wife might be more Memphis than me. So, like,
yeah, for sure.
Like, we are born and bred, and Memphis has made us. Memphis bred us, right? Yeah. So, like, that's who I am. And I don't rock with everybody. I don't rock with everything. The people I fool with because there's it feels right. It feels correct. I don't feel like I'm trying to be something else or be somebody else or turn into somebody else, or even when I'm in spaces, like I said, with, like, whoever's in that, Miss Colliers retirement celebration, I'm Miss Collier, and they are, those people are my elders, not only in age, but in business, right? Mm-hmm. They've been doing what they've been doing for 40 years. Yeah. And I've been doing this for 25. Yeah. They got a decade or 2 decades ahead of me in their business, let alone in their life. So, like, but I'm still, all right, cool, bet. Like, I'm still going to be myself. And I think one of the things that I try to tell everybody, in our industry, especially young black folks, is, bro, can't nobody beat you at being you, right? You can, if you out here trying to act like this one or that one, or like, you might have things that are similar that you share with those people, but, like, if you are trying to be those people or trying to build your career in the image of those people, like, I got mentors. I got people I watched. I say it all the time. Chef Ty Richards, Chef Joe Randall is all of our OGs, right? Mm-hmm. Dwayne Nutter, Keith Rose, right? I'm looking at, brothers Patrick Clark. I'm looking at brothers who've been doing this, who did this for a long time. Then I'm looking at sisters, Leah Chase, Edna Lewis, right? The grand dames of Southern cooking. Yeah. So, like, I'm influenced by those people. But also, at a point, Thomas Keller was the guy, right? Mm-hmm. But Thomas Keller is still the guy for me. Grant Atkins is still the guy. Those people are still matter. So, like, when I look at how I'm trying to be, I'm taking pieces from all those people. But none of those people are from Memphis. None of those people moved from Memphis to go to Phoenix to go to culinary school, right? None of those people moved from Phoenix to go to move to Charlotte because we want to move back to the South when we was trying to find a place where we could be who we wanted to become. Like, so ain't nobody else got that story. So what I look like trying to change my story into their story, like, I'm flawing it. I'm giving up a part of my power because I'm trying to be somebody else. So, like, some people don't think I'm cool. Some people think I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? And okay, so, like, I don't really, like, if you don't get it and you don't feel it, then it ain't for you. Yeah. So, like, when people get it and I meet people who we connect and it makes sense and we building and we doing stuff together, that's natural. Like, we don't got to figure it out. We don't got to think through it. Like, it's like, yo, this nigga got 5 James Beard nominations? Word? Like, nah, can't be him. Let alone give me an old fashioned or two. Like, nah. But, like, I ain't trying to hide the Memphis neither. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times people be trying to hide their past, their history, their home, and, like, nah, bro, I want you to see it. Because I need you to understand who I am. I need you, that helps you understand the food too. The context of what we're doing, how we prepare things, and how Subrina builds spaces or designs or puts music together. Like, you need to know that we're from Memphis for you to fully appreciate the story. Yeah. If you don't understand who we are, you don't really get what this is. And I think, again, kind of talking about other restaurants, right? Other restaurant owners, they get the benefit of their culture, like, generally speaking, white culture being the culture we're supposed to emulate or the culture we're supposed to be looking at. And so often they're borrowing on purpose or stealing our culture and putting it out as their culture, convincing us that that's really what it's supposed to look like. So now we going in some of those spaces and like, yo, oh yeah, that's what we need to be doing. So now you coming in my space and telling me that I'm supposed to be doing that. I was like, no, nigga, I'm the culture. We the culture. It's us. It's me and you. Like, why are you telling me that we should look at this? We should be talking about what we want to see and how we want to do it. And that go back again to the West Side. Like, I want to do it for us, with us. So in 20 years, when my baby girl go to college and she come back to Charlotte, she gonna be able to go to the Excelsior, which her brother just bought.
Shout out to
Huge,
Sean
bro.
Kennedy.
You know Sean?
Yeah. I just texted him and congratulated him.
Tell Sean to holler at me.
Yes.
Anyway, we was talking about the Excelsior for a long time.
Yeah.
So to hear a brother bought it, like, bro, that was the best thing. Like, I don't even know who I was talking to, but both of us was like, bro, it's the best thing we heard like all day today. Like, we was already having a phenomenal day.
Yeah.
And I said, brother, then I went to the crib and Rocky was like, bro, you don't know Sean, blah, blah, blah. I was like, so y'all, everybody know him. So like, he not a person, not of the community, not for the community.
Yeah.
So that's super dope that a brother bought it.
Yeah.
But like, I want her to be able to go back to the Excelsior, you know, hang out with her girls at the Excelsior, go to JSU homecoming, go get some chicken from Chicken and Ribs in the morning or the day of the parade, go down to Archive, grab some coffee. Hopefully, the night of, go to the alumni party at Leah and Louise. Then the Sunday morning, go to the gospel brunch right across the street from Freedom Church. So like, I want to be here. I want Betty's Ford to look like how Lenox Ave look, 125th look in Harlem, to where you go from JCSU to North Lake. And it's like, man, it's this black on, this spot cool. It's coffee here. It's late night coffee there. It's a wine bar there. It's a cocktail bar there. It's a cigar spot there. It's a breakfast spot, dinner spot, lunch spot, sandwich shop over there, brewery and a barbecue over there. And all that shit is black on. And I think like for us, we focus on the hospitality piece and the restaurant piece. But if you know, Archive is over there. You got a black owned bridal shop over there. And I think it's about to be a black-owned restaurant of some sort over there as well. You go across the street, you got a juice bar over there. You got the bank over there, and probably at some point it's going to be a black-owned something right there too, right? So as we're building these things and as we're growing, as we're creating it, I want it to be packed, bro. I want everybody to come and be wanting to come on Batis for a road. Like, I want to be a part of their resurgence. I want JCSU to be the spot that everybody want to go to, because JCSU is a phenomenal institution, but also because, man, Batis for a Road might be the coolest black spot since U Street. And I think we had the ability to do that because it was that already. We're not trying to do nothing new. We're just trying to bring back the essence. We're trying to bring it back when it was a steakhouse and it was Excelsior and Chicken and Ribs where Chicken and Ribs was at, and McDonald's Cafe was down there. Like, we're trying to bring it back to the essence, right? So I think, like when we talk about, I'm not trying to be cool. You just got the vibe and you appreciate the vibe because we on the same wave and we doing the same thing in our way in different ways. If you meet me and you think nothing on Batis for a Road should change, you're going to very quickly be like, I don't like him. I don't like that nigga too. He too, because I'm with it. Whatever it look like, whatever needs to happen, whatever sacrifices I need to make that happen, I'm with it. And Subrina is too. And a lot of times people ain't trying to hear that. They don't want it to change. They don't want to move the needle. They don't want to recreate that. It's so many people. Historic West End partners and everything Jatanya is doing.
Shout out to
Rodney over there doing so many beautiful things. Again, we already talked about Chris Dennis. Like, it's so many people. Bobby Drayford over there. I just met a brother, Gary Harvey, that's doing some work over there that people are going to start hearing a lot more about. But, like, it's so many people over there already doing work. We're just trying to find a way to connect the dots and partner with those people and do our part. And again, if you're not with that, you probably not going to like me. If you don't think me being black and from the South and telling everybody that I think people like my great-grandmother is more important than your great-grandmother in Southern cooking if you're not black. I don't care what you think, because if you go back far enough, there's a black woman that taught whoever your great grandmother, whatever, it's a black woman did that. So like, if you disagree with that, I'm not gonna argue with you because I know you're incorrect. I'm like, and you might be mad about this. Like, I just nigga think, no, bro, it's history. I'm not making this up for my benefit. It's the truth. So like, anyway, like, so when we met and we rap, like, that James Beard mean a lot. But it ain't me, though. All them nominations, all them awards, all them accolades, it mean a lot. I appreciate them. I appreciate people looking at us and saying, oh, man, the effort they do is great. But, like, that's not who I am, though. Those are things that have been given to me or somebody put on me. That ain't who I am. I'm a Memphis nigga.
So, let me ask you this. So much stuff I want to talk about, but So you talked about the James Beard nominations not making you. Is that what you said?
For sure.
All right.
Not making me. They aren't me.
They aren't you.
Right.
Excuse me. They aren't you. Can you talk about the benefit of a black chef having James Beard nominations and what that brings to you versus not? Like, does it make a difference? Do you feel there's a difference in having those type of accomplishments?
For sure. It's kind of like they call it the Oscars of food. And in my opinion, the reason they call it that because once you get Oscar nominated in front of your name or behind your name, it gives people who don't know what you do specifically more of a reason to, Oscar nominated. Let me go watch this
check
movie.
out the film just because.
I never would have watched the movie on how, and I'm making this up as I go, Florida people in the Gulf of Mexico shrimp and have been making ceviche since before slavery. But now, because Morgan Freeman is in it, the movie, now I'm going to watch the movie and learn more about this story. Yeah. So I think it gives, credence or I can't even think of the word I'm looking for, but
credibility.
It gives credibility to whatever the thing you're talking about is. So I think it adds credibility. And it brings in people who wouldn't normally be looking for who you are, what you do to you. Like I said, like again, and this is who I am. I remember when we got the #2 Best New Esquire nod. And
no, hold on. What was that?
And nobody in Charlotte has ever gotten that high, right?
Yeah.
Other people have gotten on the list before. Kendrick, I love Joe and Katie, great people. And then Supperland, we love them as well. But that's it though. Like, it's not a lot of restaurants that have had that since or before. And and Subrina said, "Babe, we the magazine came out because they sent us the magazine before they released it to the press." She was like, "Babe, we got #2." Wow. I said, "That's what's up. Who the fuck got #1?" and it's not, again, it's not from an arrogant perspective. It's like, I think for me, just thinking about, I think what we are trying to do is the most important work that we could possibly do. So from my context, what's better than that? Like, what's better than a black couple cooking black food in a space that speaks to black people while listening to black music in a black city? Like, what's better than that? So I'm like, but again, like, that's my perspective. So from my perspective, there's nothing that could be better than this, regardless of what people think about the food. Yeah. But then again, the restaurant that got #1, I can't remember what it was, but it was great. They got the cover. Then the same thing, we was in Bon Appetit Hot 10. Yep. And I was like, why we not the cover? Because again, my context, man, like, I made a dish. Leah's cabbage is one of the most famous dishes that ever come out of Charlotte, just like the Mud Island is, just like the Tang Tart is, right? Yeah. And for me to do, I'm like, yo, I'm doing these things because I'm talking to y'all. Like, it's almost like I'm speaking in Morse code to black people. So I think that's the biggest and best thing that I possibly do. I'm like, it's got to be #1. It's got to be the best. Yeah. But I'm not thinking about the context of, these people ain't black who tell these stories and write these magazines. Yeah. Which actually is like, damn, they not even of this and they get it. They're not even of this and they get it. Which I'm always kind of torn about, because why you get this? Why you know what I'm talking? Why you understand what I'm talking about? Why you care so much about my culture like that? Like, what you trying to do? You know what I mean? It's like the dude the white dude in the movie who saved Wakanda. It's like, what you really trying to do? Like, you just saving us out of the kindness of your heart? Like, what you really what you got up your sleeve? Yeah. So, like, I think for me, it's always a little bit of that, like a little bit of the, why y'all giving me the accolades? Yeah. Do you really think this is that good? Just straight up, straight down? Or do you think this is that good because you trying to understand the culture, or you trying to, we got to talk about the culture, we owe them that. It's like, yo, like, I want my stuff to be great because it's great, period. I want you to eat bite of food, close your eyes in this space, hear this music, and I want you to get a flashback. As I say all the time, I'm trying to cook in a way to where white folks got to deal with what their ancestors was cooking or eating. I'm trying to get to that. I'm trying to get to the first time, the whatever your white family.
You want slavery in their mouth, dog? Like,
nigga, I'm trying to get to where when you thinking about why this tastes like I know it, nigga, because it came from somebody who been feeding your family for centuries. That's why you know it. You know it because you know it in your DNA, and I know it in my DNA. Right?
That's real. Wow.
That's why.
Yeah.
So like that's always my thing. Like I'm trying to do that, and and again, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that to come around. Like with Third and Fernwood, we find that it's taking a little bit of time for it to come around. But when people come in, they looking at me like, bro, what y'all doing?
What
like,
you on?
What's going on? Like, what you on?
Yeah.
Like, what's up with this? How you come up with this? What was your thought process? Like, but I think again, that's why storytelling is super important. That's why having real conversations is super important. That's why people got to know us, because if you know us, then you get it. If you don't know us, I'm trying to catch you at a place that's ethereal for you. It's in your bones, it's in your DNA, that you tasted in this way for such a long time. I'm trying to cook in that way.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, let's be real.
I don't think you're not being unreal the whole time.
Right,
you know what I mean?
All right. So what is it like being a black restaurateur here in Charlotte? The good, bad, and ugly. Let's go the good, the bad, then the ugly.
I mean,
or the challenging.
I would say this. I think it's just like being a bank executive, a black bank executive in Charlotte. I think it's just like being a black marketing agency here in Charlotte. I think it's just like being a mayor here in Charlotte, a councilwoman here in Charlotte. I think what's happening in Charlotte right now is this emergence of excellence that's happening, and the people who are being excellent also being minorities. And I think what that is causing is people to start trying to find out what's wrong with those people, with that person, or like, oh, so what they doing bad? It's like, yeah, but what they doing wrong? Yeah, I know they raising money for kids in the community, and they, providing meals for seniors, but what they doing wrong? Yeah, I know. They talking about, I know, but what they doing wrong though? They ain't doing nothing wrong. No, they gotta be doing something wrong.
They gotta be doing something wrong.
So I think that's what it is. Like, and I think oftentimes people are doing things that aren't correct.
Okay.
I think people are trying to figure out how to work their way through struggles and challenges and issues, because most of those people ain't start ahead of the game. You starting behind the proverbial black 8-ball, right? You starting behind it, right? So while some people starting the pool table with 7 other stripes already in the thing, and they got to knock down 2 of them, you're looking at them like, man, it took them 10 years to knock out 2 balls. You're like, oh my God, you're crushing it. Your last 10 years, you've been you no more balls on the table. Yeah, it's like shit. Y'all got us playing 2 tables at the same time and trying to figure out what. So what's taking us so long? Oh, he scratched on this one. Oh no, he gotta stop playing. We gotta make him stop. It's like, nah, like you got me playing 2 pool tables against 2 different opponents, and you asking me why somebody beat me. Yeah, like, or why did I make a mistake here, or what the issue is. So I think, I think we're in a place to where black excellence, again, like we said earlier, isn't a footnote. Like, it's part of the conversation. Yeah. Look at the Great 28. Yeah. The QC Metro does.
Yeah, that was beautiful, man.
Right, you did use the last one, right?
Yeah, I was just Wednesday.
So like,
yeah, shout out to Glenn Perkins, man.
Every year, it's new.
Yeah, man.
28 new people. Yeah. And the thing is, it ain't never not gonna be the case because black folks are continuing to thrive and do great things here in Charlotte. So, like I said earlier, like I'm able to be in rooms here in Charlotte of black excellence that I don't even think can exist in where I'm from. So like, I ain't humble.
Yeah.
I'm extremely honored to be in this position, but I worked my ass off to get in this position.
Yeah.
I went, bro, and again, and I like to, I love having conversations and having anecdotes. One of my favorite Jay-Z lines is, I went on MTV with do-rags, I made them love you. Normally, you know, them people wouldn't be fucking with you until I showed them exactly why you do what you do. Like, that whole thought process is like, I wanted to be the person to go put on so that every black chef coming after me has it a little bit easier. Yeah. So that every black restaurateur after me have it a little bit easier. Yeah. Bro, I ain't gotta say it, but I'm gonna say it for argument's sake. Look up Black Chef in 2012 in Charlotte. Look it up in 13, look it up in 14, look it up in 15, look it up in 16. We started Soul Food Sessions in 2016. I hit up a couple of chefs I knew, and I was like, bro, we need to do a black chef dinner. Yeah. And they was like, I bet. The reason is because I had done like 5 chef dinners, and in them chef dinners, I was the only black chef, or it was another black chef, right? It was only 1 or 2 of us. Yeah. So like, I was like, yo, we need to do this together. And when we first did it, there was 2 sides of the coin. There was one side of the coin that was like, why y'all doing this? It ain't gonna work, and ain't necessary. What's the point? And then the other side was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. What y'all need me to do to help? Yeah. It's like, nothing. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. And on the other side, you'll see. Yeah. And for me, it's more of a pride thing, because it's like, yo, well, I need everybody to see how good we are. And it wasn't about like how much better we are than you or how much better we are than this. It was like, no, we're great in our own right. Like, you don't need to compare me to nobody else. We do what we do great. Then at 18, we got Charlotte Teens of the Year. And I think, you know, that the 2 years of work that me and Subrina have been putting in just about the culture and about being black. Like, bro, we from Memphis. We don't know nothing else. Well, that's all we know to do. So, like, being here in Charlotte has allowed us to do that. Yeah. I don't know if I could have done this in Charleston. Yeah. Do you feel like, so I do want to get your perspective on, you know, before we wrap, I want to get your perspective on just the scene in Charlotte and like your vision, what you see that what Charlotte can be. But before I get to that, I wanted to ask, like, you and I have had a lot of conversations about, you know, when we think about, I ain't gonna say Charlotte, let's say another city. Let's say, you know, your Bobby Flays of the world, your Guy Fieri's of the world, and some of these folks that are in other markets, right, where they're the talent. They're the great chef. They got all these beautiful ideas and dope ideas. They can cook their behind off, right? But they have a financier. They have a backer. They have machine. A machine. It ain't just the money. Yeah, where they can develop concepts. And you said to me, like, man, some of these folks have the opportunity, the benefit of failing. For sure. The benefit of trying a concept. Absolutely. It didn't work. Let's start the next one. Not it's the death of their career and they got to go back and work somewhere just because that one concept didn't work. Go ahead. No, talk about. Because I don't even want to jump off the cliff like this. I'm finna push you. So go ahead. I'm gonna let you push me. Why, number one, why is that dichotomy there between maybe black chefs, or is that a Charlotte thing? Do you know the answer? Go ahead. You know the answer to that question. Well, I don't. Ask the actual question. You know that the answer to that question is because they are the majority, right? Okay. It's white people who have most of the money. It's white people who do most of the investment. And also the thing I think we don't consider is, like, if it's 100 millionaires that's white, normally it's probably, I think it's like 10%. Yeah. So like that means it's 10 millionaires that are black. And I'm just talking about 100 versus the 10. Yeah. That means out of the 10 millionaires that are black, if 10% of every millionaire is investing in restaurants, that means that 100 of the white people, 10 of them are investing in restaurants. One black person investing. That's $10 million in white people's restaurants, 1 million in black people's restaurants.
Yeah.
And I'm just comparing those to people, right? We're
Yeah.
not talking about different minorities who come over to this country and they got loan programs set up for them to where they can go in and 20 family members each can get a $100,000 loan. They can go together and build a Asian restaurant for $2 million, and everybody work together, and everybody working for free, and everybody is getting tax breaks because maybe it's a church in the back. Like, it's all these other things that are going on that kind of create methodologies for generational wealth and the ability to invest in a carefree way for a lot of people. But like, we have. Subrina and I have gotten to the point to where, but again, it took 5 James Beard nominations to get to the point to where people are like, y'all want to invest in you.
God, hold up, dog.
No, it didn't happen. The people who invest in us now, who have invested in us, it's a few black people. They've invested different amounts, right? And we appreciate their investment. And then we work with a restaurant group, and they put a huge investment in. But the majority of our investment came from white folks. Yeah. And I don't think that they're like, oh, we're going to work with this black company. I think they believe in what we do, and they believe in what we're creating. I think it's important. I think the difference is it took us to be great to get that. We weren't able to. If we had that investment at the beginning and we were allowed to grow and become great, what we were doing would have had a better and more strong foundation because we started in the hole. You dig out the hole some, you peek it out, you're like, damn, that's the ground right there. And then you won't start digging the hole again because you never was outside of the hole in the first place. And I think for us, for other folks, like, they just get the benefit of starting on the mountain. Like, they not even on flat ground. They like
they already on the mountain.
I'm like, damn, like,
did they get dropped off in a helicopter on top of the mountain, or they had to climb up the mountain, or what?
I don't want to say everybody getting dropped off in a helicopter. Some folks get to the first peak and they like, hey man, you been working real hard. Let me bring you on up here. My ass is down there deep in that valley. They're like, oh, what they doing down there? All right, man, come on. So like, it's there. I don't, I hate to, kind of speak to this dichotomy that, every non-black person that got what they got it because somebody gave it to them and they didn't have to work for it. I don't think that's the conversation. Our conversation has always been about, all right, let us. If you believe in what we're doing and you have the wherewithal to help us create a foundation, the worst thing that can happen is the same thing that happens when other folks get the foundation or the finances or the capital or whatever the case and they fail. That is the worst thing that can happen, right? The worst thing. But the best thing that can happen is all the things that you've been asking for, you can get, you can get an investment, right? You can get community change, you can get economic development, you can get, students being able to have a pathway from high school into something, right? There's so many great things that can happen just by setting us up and folks like us with a foundation, because we're not looking at it like we are the only ones. We're looking at it like, man, if we win, we're not just going to randomly help people. We want everybody else to win too, because that is the nature of black folks. Black folks want everybody to thrive. Yeah. I don't want Badersford Road to have a whole bunch of cool restaurants that don't nobody else from no other communities go to. I want everybody to come over there and eat good and have fun and enjoy themselves and see how great we living over there and how great the restaurant scene is and the bar scene and everything else. I think sometimes it's this misnomer that, like, if we get it, we gonna keep it and not give it back. And that's oftentimes because that's what everybody else does to us. Like, once they get in, they trying to find a way to keep us out. But like, we don't, bro, when we thriving, everything thrives. thrives. Everyone thrives. When Atlanta is the black Mecca, it is the Southern Mecca. And don't nobody says that. Like everybody like, oh man, Atlanta was the black Mecca and boom, 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 that was it. No. Atlanta was a black Mecca, and the Olympics came, and the music benefited from it.
Yeah,
culture benefited from it. Like, bro,
the whole music industry, the culture of America.
And that's the thing. Like, when we win, everybody wins because we want everybody to win. It's intrinsic in who we are. It's in our nature. It's in our DNA. So, like, I think that, like, our thing is always like, look, we weren't able to start with the foundation. We've got to a place that where we've had some help and assistance along the way. But we've never been able to have the foundational assistance to create something that can stand the test of time no matter what's going on. And I think, I feel like we're getting to the place to where that's about to happen. And when it does happen, I think the West Side benefits from it, and not just the corridor. Like, everywhere on the West Side benefits from it. It makes everything better. JCSU benefits from it, right? Everything, like, we build the community, and it makes Charlotte better. We're not building the community just for us, just to say, look at our corner over here. We're trying to make Charlotte better.
3 more things. So I did want to touch on this. What about folks who say, well, okay, like when I hear you say 5 James Beard nominations, right? And then people were interested in investing in us. There's some people who are never going to win or be nominated for a James Beard award, right? And so that made to some feel like a hard hill to climb to be able to achieve that, to get that type of support. Now, another part of that is that you need to be dope, right? And so some people may say, well, I mean, if it's all about relationships, and it's all about, are you a good business person, and you have to go out here and work hard to get the type of investors and things that you need to for someone to believe in you. Like, but there's still a dichotomy between the amount of support some groups get or some individuals get, whether that they're white or in other communities, versus black, right? Am I right in saying that?
I think the root of the conversation is that Wilmo says this. Folks think the white man ice colder. And
I've definitely heard him say that.
And I don't think he meant to say that to man. Everybody think that white folks are the best people on earth, right? That's a conversation for a different
day,
right? But
and pod.
But what we do know, we can easily recognize is proximity to whiteness is, to a lot of people's eyes, proximity to greatness. Yeah. Or proximity to excellence, or proximity to what, just all positivity. Yeah. Because that's often the case, people look up to that thing. Everybody looks the opposite way to proximity to blackness. It's literally 2 different ends of the light spectrum and 2 different ends of how people view things spectrum. And again, another colloquial phrase is black tax, right? I think, we have to be 20 to 30 to 40, whatever the number is, better than our counterparts to be seen as the same as our counterparts. So whereas one chef might be able to open a restaurant in a little strip mall in Rock Hill, South Carolina, where people are writing about it in the Charlotte Observer and how great the thought process and the food is, right? Another chef may be able to do that, and somebody might say, man, I see the potential for them to be a 5 James Beard nominated chef. A lot of people get to operate from the potential, right? We have to operate from the he except in music and sports. They're saying he's great, so he must be great. And we like the food, and we and so you add all these things into it. So I think there's a sliding scale, and I think everybody gets the benefit of the doubt except for us, and I think it quite literally goes from hey, white male chef all the way down to black woman chef, and depending again on proximity to whiteness, right? If you close enough to it, then you can kind of get some things and do some things. So I don't think the dichotomy is specifically based on the person who is trying to get the investment, who's trying to get the infrastructure, who's trying to get the capital. I think what it's really about is proximity to the thing that people are looking at like it's the greatest thing in the world. I think we have enough foundations in Charlotte, and they do great work. I think we have enough independently wealthy athletes and different folks in Charlotte who make a lot of money, but they are usually working off the same system that helped them get the money, and that system is also about proximity to whiteness. So a lot of times those folks have to go against what the standard is to come back and invest in their community in that way, or in black folks in that way, in whatever sector. So I think there's a dichotomy. I think there's a two-part of it. One is just purely proximity to whiteness, and then the other part of it is the fact that we are operating in systems that were meant to hold us down. So if we aren't going to try to find a new way to operate, we have to go against the system to do something that's going to be beneficial for folks who are not in proximity to whiteness.
Gotcha. All right. We're going to clip this part up. We're going to clip all of this up. But this right here. All right. I know that you produced a magazine recently, which was excellent. Yeah. That really showed what the culinary scene could be and should be here in Charlotte.
And that's volume 1, by the way.
Volume 1.
We'll talk about.
Gotcha. Can you talk about from the beautiful mind of Greg Collier, what you see Charlotte's culinary and food scene could be if we had all of the buy-in and all of the support that not only for black chefs, but just from a macro level, what you feel like it should be or could be?
I think bigger cities invest directly in hospitality entities because they know it's a way to, it's kind of like the arts. Charlotte is a city that is starting to see culinary as an art. Cities always invest in art because it's a visual appeal, right? But everybody who's a part of city building, city planning knows that it's not just about the visual appeal. It's about what it creates as far as a community when you focus on art, how it builds up neighborhoods. Like it's a very specific way to, all right, I want to live in the area with all the cool murals, right? Yeah. And I don't know, again, I'm not a city planner, so I can't speak to the actual plan, but art is kind of the beginning of the reinvestment into a city. Yeah. I think the thing that gets slept on oftentimes, and I think the reason why is because black folks are usually the hands that feed the mouths of the city. So I think recently, obviously, those hands are starting to become more than black hands. So now there could be a little bit more focus and investment into specifically the culinary and hospitality world of the city. Because, like we talked about earlier, systems are usually built to make sure black folks at the bottom and white folks at the top. That's how systems are built. That don't mean that every person in the system operates in that way, but this is how the system is created. Yeah. So I think our goal is, quite selfishly Betty for a row, right? Our goal is the corridor because we believe if we can create a system where we build, we taking kids from high school, after college or whatever, just not even just always at Trouble Youth, because it's kind of at Trouble Youth, like second chance people's like whatever, whoever just wants to be a part of the program, interested youth. Yeah. People who are excited about food, but they don't even know how to take the steps to make that something they can, feed their family off of. We're saying, look, let us, one, build a program based off the restaurants. People go to culinary school and spend money to learn, and then they have to go work at a job to where they got to start at the bottom because they don't know as much about the restaurant, right? Yeah. So we're saying, look, we're going to build a program that's centered on the restaurant. We teach people how to work in a restaurant, how to run a line, how to run a station, how to serve, how to bartend, how to serve, how to be a sommelier. We're teaching people at the restaurant, right? Yeah. So not only are they working, they're getting paid to learn. As they're getting paid to learn, when they go through our program, when they leave the program, they're walking into a restaurant with the ability to work saute, with the ability to work salad station, with the ability to talk to a guest about the difference between these 3 red grapes, right? They walk in with that knowledge at 19, 20, 21. oftentimes the thing that happens to us, especially in the hospitality industry, is it takes us so long to get in the hospitality industry. By the time we get in, we're maybe 25, right? And we're starting off as a sommelier at 25, whereas, especially in European countries, these kids are coming out of sommelier school, knowing all the wines before they can even drink the wine.
Wow.
So by the time they get in the industry, they got 4 years of wine knowledge.
Wow.
So they coming in as level 1, level 2 sommeliers, and whereas we don't even know that a test exists about wine because we haven't been exposed unless we have the ability to pay for school. And people get scholarships. I almost say, oh, you can't go to school unless you pay for it. But like you going to school, you're getting a scholarship that they allow you to pay for school. You still got to pay books and everything else. So I think that's the first step, right? Training people and bringing in people who are ready to go into the industry. That's step one. Step two is it's folks who have been in the industry, who are chefs, who are sommeliers, who are hospitality folks already. They're trying to find out how to do their own thing, right? Cool. Same thing. We already at this place in the restaurant. Maybe you do your pop-up here for a certain amount of time. We have an organization. We partner with Ernst & Young or Deloitte or somebody huge. We have the financial acumen. It ain't us doing them. It's like this huge company that does these books is going to do everything for you to not only show you what the first 6 months look like, it's going to show you what the next 60 months look like. So now you can listen to somebody who help you game plan and put this thing together for you. So as you go, you know you can't really afford to pay $5,000 a month rent if you're only going to do this concept. You can really only afford to pay $2,500. So now with this knowledge in hand, you got a guy like Rodney, right, with Boundary. Hey, we have these buildings, some on the west side, some not. We know exactly where you need to go based on what you're trying to do. They do all these demographics and market study and everything else. So you walk into these situations with such a foundation that you know for sure this ain't the place.
So it's systems in place, like the market is involved in the systems that help the institutions or the restaurants be successful.
The market isn't just involved in the systems. Because you take a restaurant like ours, Uptown Yolk, that's already successful in another place, you bring it to the west side, you have workforce development because we're actually building people who are already in this program and teaching them and learning them. We have economic development because now we got people coming from all sides of town to spend money in 28216 on the corridor. You have community development because not only are we going to be a restaurant, we're going to be a place to where you can host graduations and birthday parties and all these things. And you don't have to, well, I got to go, I'm going to do this event at this event center, and they bring it in the caterer, yada, it's all these different things you got to figure out. So one-stop shop. In the middle of the community, you ain't got to go all the way South Park or wherever. You can do it right here, right in your neighborhood with folks you know who are not just here because, again, we live there. Yeah. So we are of the community, and we're trying to be a part of it. So our idea is to create a system to catch people at whatever level they're in and help them learn the ways and obviously, learn from our mistakes. We made some mistakes. So being able to say, look, this is what you don't do. Here's the system that you need to follow to get to point A, then to point B, then to point C, then to point D. And you have people who are a part of that team in every single way to where if you listen and you follow this, you're great. Sabrina was a part of Amp Up. Amp Up Charlotte is an amazing program.
Yeah.
We was like, yo, we should just, figure out how we can work with Amp Up to do essentially a hospitality version of Amp Up, a hospitality specific version. So all those things, there's so many different organizations on the corridor who do great work, right? Yeah. Working with kids for meals, working with seniors for meals. I forgot what Alicia's organization is called. Golly, she okay.
Alicia who?
Not Block Love. Deal with Block Love Charlotte is also an organization that we always donate stuff to for the festival. But being able to partner with them to say, y'all are feeding people who are displaced. How about we take a student every quarter, a person every quarter who's interested in the industry, we bring them through the program. Right, you're feeding them. You already have a relationship with them. Let's take a person and bring them through the program for the struggle. Yeah, they already feed seniors in the community, but they gotta go and work with other partners. If we there and we on that west side, you can come right down the street and say, look, let's how many meals? 50? Okay, cool. We can do that for this price. She do a nonprofit thing. We do it, and it's like you ain't gotta find a place who can do it. We right there.
Yeah.
So we're a community center. We're an economic development hub. We are what a culinary school should be, right? It's teaching people how to work in the industry they're in, not from a theoretical level, but from an actual active level. So that was the idea of Subrina and I. We put together the magazine, and that's step one. Step one is for us to, find a place on the west side, build this cultural hub that has a fully operational restaurant, so we can show people what it could look like if you actually invest and you put the help us put the systems in place and put the structures in place. Step two is Bad Habit Magazine Volume 2. That one is kind of the corporate, hey, this is the goal, this is what we're trying to do, we need capital for, right? The other one is to highlight black-owned restaurants and black chefs. I think everybody's like, oh man, we highlight that, but do we really highlight it? Other than that February, right? Do we really have the conversation about original chicken and ribs and how it started and why it started? Have we really had a conversation with Mr. Charles about his thought process and how they got to where they're going? Is that story in a place to where we can read about it and really know? Do we really know about Mr. Crowder's why they're doing Coffee Cup and what their motivation is and how they build? Do we really understand? We know kind of the story of merch, but do we really know the story of merch? Do we really know how we got to where we got to? He was telling me how he started the other day, and I was like, what? He was telling me about some of the struggles, and I was like, what? How? How were your struggles in '89 the same struggles we have in the 24? How?
How's that possible?
And just having those conversations with those people who are doing it forever. And again, the young folks, right? Jasmine making with Beyond Amazing Donuts, Oscar and Coop with Jimmy Pearls, Justin and Patrice over at Lorem Ipsum, right? So many different people. The food truck folks. You got stuff like It's Popping and Spud, I forgot the name of the truck, but there's so many black hospitality-centric people who have businesses that maybe they're where they want to be at and maybe they don't want to grow. Stats is crazy, right? Yeah. They're doing a phenomenal job, just like Fume, right? But everybody ain't necessarily in that position. So, but even they might have something that they want to improve or they want to grow. We want to create the foundation where people can. Maybe it's just an hour conversation. Yeah. Sabrina, when we first opened a restaurant, she said, yeah, I'm going to help you with it. But she's always wanted to be a restaurant consultant. Really? So, her goal is to get to that. When she did an Ample program, she was like, this is what I want to do. But I want to do this for restaurants. I want to do this for hospitality professionals. So, I think, the magazine is kind of like us. Hey, here's our struggles. Here's the thought process. Yes, I'm 5 times James Beard nominated. But that don't mean that everything is peaches and cream. Here's why. Here's what we can do to change that. And here's how we can make sure that the cocktail bar, the speakeasy, the dive bar, the wine shop, the cigar bar, the soul food spot, the breakfast spot, the coffee shop that's already there, but maybe we want something else, maybe we want to add to that, whatever. When we look at that and we want that to be a lot of black-owned restaurants and we want that to be like a U Street or Jefferson Ave in Nashville, we could build that. And the magazine is we've taken some lumps, but we don't want to just say we took some lumps just so we can get better. We want to say we took some lumps so everybody in the community can get better too. So.
All right, we're going to get out here on these two things. Real quick. Bobby laughing at me. No, you good.
Lord.
What could Charlotte be from a culinary scene, like relative to all the major culinary markets in the country? What do we have the potential to be? I know. I had to do something.
Dang, I missed it. What could Charlotte be from a culinary perspective?
Just versus what could Charlotte be from a culinary perspective? What do we have the potential to be? Versus a New York or Miami, Atlanta.
I think we could be the culinary black mecca of America.
Really?
And I think that because we don't necessarily... People kind of say heritage. Heritage and history is the most important contextually, all right? But heritage and history ain't the most important. It is very important. But I think what the most important is the ability to honor history and heritage while making growth a priority. And I think because in Charlotte, there are people who are so... Sharice's work is archival work. Like her goal is to archive the history, right? Because it's so important to show us what our past look like, to show us what our present needs to look like. The same thing with other cities have the stigma of you got to do it this way because this is how we've always done it. And then other cities like don't have any of that, and they just doing whatever they want to do, which is also creative. I think Charlotte has the perfect blend of growth and history, and people who want to preserve history to allow us to create things that honor the past and push forward at the same time. And I don't think anybody else is poised in that way, because the next big black city you get to is Durham, theoretically, but we got more people in Durham. We have more capital here, and I think we have more infrastructure here as well. When you go to the South, the next kind of thing they talk about all the time is Charleston, but so much of that history is being erased in the name of new food stuff that, the people who created Charlotte don't even get their proper due and proper share of the growth in that way. So, and then I think if you go west, the first big black hub is Nashville.
Yeah.
So like, I think we have we're 4 hours away, 2 to 4 hours away from the coast, 2 to 4 hours away from the mountains, 2 to 4 hours away from like places like Charleston and like the Geechee, Gullah areas, and then it's 4 miles north. Like everything has to come through Charlotte. I-95 got to come through Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? I-40 come through Charlotte. Like we are a cultural hub. We are a distribution hub. Like everything got to go through us, and because everything got to go through us, we can kind of dictate to the north what the south look like. We can kind of dictate to the south what the north look like.
Yeah,
we can dictate to Tennessee what the coast look like, and we can dictate to the coast what Tennessee and all that stuff look like. We have the ability to tell the story in the way that nobody else can tell the story. So I think and I think it's happening because it's. You see people talk about black chefs and black restaurants. There's a list of black chefs to support. There's a list of black restaurants to support. You got to think, what's it, 24? A decade ago? It's no way that exists. Because it's not because people ain't been doing the work. It's because it wasn't an important part of the conversation. And I think that's part of the work that Subrina and I have done, and we've done that with no real foundation. We've done that with no real capital infrastructure to be able to focus on that. We ain't even been able to really bring in high school students and train them like we really wanted to. Like, once that happens, it's going to blow up, because not only do you got people taking Charlotte to other places in the world, you got people building on what Charlotte is. So now you got the story coming from Charlotte and not the story coming to Charlotte. Once we start telling the story and dictating to everybody what the story is and how stuff's supposed to look and why black farms here matter and how different food ways can happen, like conversations about muscadine and sweet potatoes and tobacco and all these things that have often been the bane of our existence. When that stuff start happening and we take control of that here in Charlotte, in Metro Charlotte, we ain't got to worry about Atlanta or Raleigh or Asheville or Nashville or nothing, because we gonna be so big and so important to the culture that everybody gonna come here to get it.
All right, I'm gonna get you in trouble on this. Well, you probably already got yourself in trouble, but besides your restaurants, what's your favorite dish in Charlotte? Like, you like, man.
I know you ain't in trouble. It is what it is, because I'm not gonna mention any of my chef friends. Saigon Palace.
Saigon Palace.
Saigon Palace. It was one of the first restaurants we went to after Subrina had our baby girl Celia. It is the place I go to when I don't feel good, when I'm sick.
Really? Where is this?
I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
It is the place where you said cheers. When we come in, we go to the same table almost every time. Sabrina need a charger because her phone ain't never charged for whatever reason. We go to the same table. Baby girl get to run around there, and they don't have nothing to say because they know she a little kid, and there's carpet in there, so it's cool. And the dish is pho Thai with mixed vegetables. It's the Vietnamese noodle soup, and bro, like, if it's cold and I'm sick and it's raining. I had COVID. That's the first spot I went to after I had COVID.
Wow.
I needed to get it out. It's like, okay, I did my quarantine, but I ain't right yet. I need to get this. It's like it's like chicken soup.
Wow.
It's like that thing. So I always tell everybody, Saigon Palace is the spot I go to. Like, the Chinese food is good there, but the Vietnamese food is phenomenal. They got a buttered quail dish. It's crazy. But I always get full time, bro. Like, I'm not a ramen person. I'm a pho person. So, like, that's where I go. Like, that's my dish.
That's your dish.
100%, bro.
That's what's up.
Easy.
Man, all right. I appreciate you being on the show, man.
Yes,
You're the first guest, like the real guest.
Come on now.
Yeah. So it was dope to have you here.
Clip me up, baby. Let's blow this thing up, man. Let's do it.
For sure. All right, so you can't leave without shouting out all your restaurants and all your projects and endeavors.
All the things. Third and Fernwood and Metropolitan, Southern Soul Food. We got a brunch buffet Saturday and Sunday. And the backside of that thing is a cocktail lounge. It's open till 12, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We call it the cocktail lounge at 3rd.
Yep.
Uptown Yolk is in South End. Around the back corner over there with culinary dropout and all that good stuff, 60 Vines. We have the Backhaven Food and Wine Festival we do every year in October.
Yep.
We're doing it this year, but we're going to do it a little different. And once we get the details down for that, we're going to let y'all know. And we're going to start working on the cookbook this year.
Okay.
I got to send you that manuscript too.
Okay.
I'm like 50 pages in.
Okay.
It's probably too much. But we're going to start working on the cookbook this year. Yeah, man, really, the things are family, right? I want to make sure the wife is good, baby girl is good. I want to make sure the community that we living in is, great for everybody who want to move to the community, who in the community now. So, super excited. West side, the best side.
What's up? And shout out to Subrina Collier, the brains behind the operation, the genius, the heart. And thank you for all of your support from me and the Brain Script Agency. Let me be down with y'all. All right, y'all. Greg Collier, the great Greg Collier, my man, my homie. Nigga, man. Thank you for watching the Power Mixer Podcast. We'll see you next time. Gio.